Game 4, Toronto ties it up at 2 apiece. Vladdy goes 2 for 4 with a home run. Ohtani struck out 6, but he himself struck out twice at the plate. Here's Vladdy with our post-game squad. Take a listen.
Yesterday, everybody was with his head down, in the locker room. And when I was the last one to go in, and when I went in, I saw everybody with his head down. I say, "Come on, bro, head up. It's not over yet. It's not over. They not win the four game. You have to win 4 games to win the World Series. It's not over yet." And everybody was smiling. I say, "If you want to put music, put some music." And we put a little bit of music, and we go home and rest and come back and win it today.
There you go, the power of music. Are the Dodgers in trouble?
Right now, through 4 games, I feel the Blue Jays have been better.
Certainly scored a lot more runs.
And listen, Shohei has last night notwithstanding been great and been dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And Yamamoto was unbelievable. So to me, the Dodgers have won 2 games. 1 game because Yamamoto was spectacular, and 1 game because Shohei broke records that will last for the rest of all of our lives, most likely.
And that still could have went either way.
Right, and it still could have gone either way. And Freddie Freeman's been good. Yeah, and obviously had the unbelievable moment. I feel like for the Blue Jays, even with Springer out, and when you heard Schneider during the game yesterday, made it sound like he thinks Springer could be back. Vladdy's been great. Berger's been great. Obviously, Alejandro Kirk's been great.
Mm-hmm.
And Bo Bichette is giving them more than they thought they were going to get. And this is, Brew, what I said going into the series. And again, it's 2-2. We'll see what happens. But I did think the Blue Jays were built in a way that they could get to the one, portal in the Dodgers Death Star, which is their bullpen. What is it, an air vent dust? I don't know. I'm not a Star Wars guy, but I think that's what it was, where they could, if you look at what the Blue Jays were great at this year, you would think that's a team that's going to be able to get a starting pitcher out of the game. And every game that they did get the starting pitcher out of the game, they had the lead late. They scored 9 in the 6th inning of Game 1. They took the lead in the 7th inning of the Game 3 Classic. And last night they scored, they scored 4 in the 7th inning last night. And so I don't think the Dodgers are like, they're but I do think the Blue Jays have been the better team by a bit through 4 games.
I'll admit that I shudder a bit when I see Blake try and take them out. Nothing against him, but it's tough.
Yeah.
He's having a rough series. But no, I don't think they're in trouble. Look, I think this is, and we go through this every year in the NBA playoffs.
Yes.
Any
Whoever
7-game
wins
series,
last.
exactly, you feel like the other team's in control. Because 24 hours ago, we felt like the Blue Jays were done. All right, how are they going to bounce back from this 18-inning loss? So, no, I think the Dodgers are fine. I do have confidence in Blake Snell coming out. Obviously, they roughed him up really well in Game 1. But I think he'll come out tonight and redeem himself and give them 7 innings at least. That's what I'm feeling like. Because, again, like you said, and they may have gone a little too long with Ohtani, just slightly. Because, he was great until they got the 2 runners on in the 6th, and then they took him out, and then the dam broke. But I think they'll be fine. They got to get their bats going. They've had 3 runs in the last 20 innings of baseball. So they have to get Mookie. It would be nice if Mookie. He got a hit last night, but he's 3 for 19 in the series. And the other thing, and I thought Shohei obviously didn't get a hit, but I thought he pitched fine, like I said. But when he pitches, now he had the historic game that we all said was the best ever in the NLCS. But when he pitches, he doesn't hit as well, which is obviously understandable. But you see the numbers are different. So, look, if I don't know if he would end up pitching again in this series.
Only
but if he needs to, right, you got to throw him out there. But that, understandably, he doesn't hit it as well when he pitches. But
I like that the Blue Jays didn't walk Ohtani. They walked him in
I was gonna ask
the
you about
first
that.
part, but I was nervous that they were just going to like go extreme and just walk him every time. So now they're pitching to him, and they struck him out twice. That was great.
And no intentional walks.
No, the first one was
the
just
first
a random.
one they were staying away from him, but it wasn't.
They were being
intentional.
careful.
Yeah, but they were giving him strike.
Yeah.
He swung and missed it.
Yeah.
Mookie Betts, you mentioned it, 3 for 19. It's even a quieter 3 for 19. It's just 3 singles, no doubles, no triples, no home runs, no RBIs. He scored 1 run. I'd like him, as a Red Sox legend, to break out of this funk. He's 5 for 34 since the NLCS. Right. So he's been quiet. If he pops and Freeman pops again, I think my Dodgers are in a good spot.
Can I ask you a question about the Shohei stuff real quick before we move on? Because I think we probably all, in the afterglow of seeing a guy reach base 9 times and the walks and the extra base hits, we were remaking Major League Baseball yesterday. Maybe a little, maybe a little.
Warranted.
No, I'm not saying it was bad.
Basically 5.
And by the way, we weren't the only people doing it. Like people, it was a legitimate point of discussion. But part of that discussion then became you hearing Schneider say, we're not going to pitch to him, and you saying, maybe smartly, or maybe correctly, obviously,
or it may have
smart.
just extended it too far. Both are on the board.
No, but that would send the wrong message to the Blue Jays that were afraid of him. So I'm asking you sincerely, do you think because they didn't, it actually sent the other message?
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
The fact that it was that he was saying we're not going to pitch to him, and they literally pitched to him the whole game. They were careful. They were smart with how pitching to him, but they pitched to him the whole game. Do you think the flip side to the coin you were worried about for the Blue Jays could apply, which is they stared him down and said, okay.
Yeah, with 2 strikeouts, too. It wasn't just like super hard hit balls, because in the NLCS, I think, he was slamming the ball, but they weren't hits, and well, he's not actually struggling.
And I think, look, I don't know what Snyder was thinking when he said, this is going to continue throughout the series. But that may have been some gamesmanship. Like, maybe he was not intending to do that, but just throw it out there, and you get in the Dodgers' head of, they're not even going to pitch to Shohei. Does that mess with Mookie's head? Like, wow, they treat me like I'm just a regular player, So
I was nervous he was going to get the Bonds treatment of just
I'm glad
put him
he
on
didn't.
early.
Well, it would have been shocking to me. Like I said yesterday, I imagine no player in the history of baseball has gotten an intentional walk in the, to start the first inning of a game. I just don't think that's a thing. So that would have shocked me, but they could have done it at any point, and instead, like you said, they struck him out twice.
Yeah, it felt like it went up against the identity of a team.
Yeah.
They led the league with 49 comeback wins. They are like, we can do it.
Yep.
I'm sure they know the graphic I showed, too. They know he doesn't hit as well when he's pitching, too.
Yeah.
Even though,
Oh, that's...
You think they know? You think?
No,
in the locker room, they put up a graphic with a spider on it.
I think the team obviously knows. Maybe not the players, but the
he's
coaches
a less
and all
dangerous
that.
hitter on the days. That they might be more cautious with him today than they were yesterday, is I think what Bruce said.
Just quickly, do you think the marathon affected the way Ohtani played?
I think, I don't know how it couldn't, but I would imagine it affected everyone who played in that game, which is one of the advantages the Blue Jays had yesterday was their starting pitcher didn't play. Mm-hmm. Everybody else basically played. Their starting pitcher was the only fresh guy on the 2 rosters.
I would say it didn't affect him more than anybody else. Now, he had a heavier load because he was pitching.
Well, that's right.
He actually was pretty good. I mean, he didn't get hits, but he's had other games where he's not hitting.
He
but
could have gotten shelled early.
Yeah, he didn't.
Game 5 winner wins the series 68% of the times.
It was 86%.
Is there a game 4 winner when you're down 2-1? I mean.
Yes, there is.
Because it was 70%.
A lot of them are like
after game 3.
57. This one is 67.6.
I'm surprised it's not more, to be totally honest. Go
game
up
5
3-2.
winner? Absolutely.
I'm surprised it's not higher.
Chiefs in Buffalo Sunday afternoon for what Dusty's calling Mahomes versus Allen 10, but with an X. He wanted to make it a big thing, like a wrestling. I don't know. Mahomes 1-4 in the regular season, 4-0 in the playoffs against Josh.
And Tiger needed David Duval,
Hey,
except Duval actually
Nantz.
did win a major. Listen, I love Jim Nantz.
Jim Nantz is
and
a
I
legend.
love Adam Shine.
Yeah.
I love
I like Adam
Shine.
Shine,
You want just to push back
But
on
this
that
is
immediately.
no, Shine's never going to push back on it
no.
because Shine's as big of a Josh Allen homer as there is in the sports media, and he knows it. And he has an annual interview with Jim Nantz before Chiefs Bills. He also has an annual interview with me before Chiefs Bills in the playoffs, where he gets to be wrong every year. But it is closer to Jordan-Ewing or Jordan Malone than Bird Magic or Peyton Brady, and this makes me mad every year. First of all, Patrick doesn't need Josh. What are the greatest moments of Patrick's career? One of them involves Josh, but there's the 13 seconds game. But then there's also the walk-off touchdown in the Super Bowl against San Francisco, the 10-point comeback with 6 minutes left in the other Super Bowl against San Francisco, the final drive against Philly, the AFC Championship game against the Bengals. So the down 24-0 in the playoffs in the first half against Houston. What are Josh's greatest moments? What are they? Real quick.
I know his one greatest moment.
No, it's the 13 seconds
Yeah,
game.
that's it.
And then it's a lot of games in September and October.
Yeah, him hurdling over guys. is like, the run against the Chiefs is a big deal.
He hurdled the Chiefs. He hurdled the Chiefs the next year. He had the run against the Chiefs last year. Josh needs Patrick. All of his memorable moments that aren't really fun segments on Get Up are against Patrick. And so there is this. So that part of it bothers me. And then there is the Peyton-Tom thing. And Peyton, for the young people out there, for the 2000 aughts, Peyton-Tom was a legitimate debate because it shined a light on what you valued in sports almost. The individual accomplishment in the team sport or the team success because they were such different players. Peyton, so we can show it to you. And what I did was the first 8 from 2001 to 2008. So since Tom became a starter, those first 8 years.
Early on, yeah, it was. So everybody thought Peyton.
Well, this is 8 years of Brady Mahomes, so that's why I'm doing the first 8 years of them. Tom had the wins, Peyton had all of the stats, and in the playoffs, it was close. It was 2-1, Tom over Peyton in the playoffs. By the way, that's the entirety of their Patriot cult career. It was 2-1. But that's their first 8 years. So Tom, Peyton wins this graphic, if you will, the statistical one, but Tom wins the team one. But then if you go to the next one, and it's a similar thing here. Peyton beats him on individual accolades, MVPs, All-Pros, Pro Bowls, but Tom beats him on team stuff. Those same exact graphics for the same exact time frame of Patrick versus Josh. It's just a bunch of 10-8 rounds, if we can show them, Dust. So Patrick has started 11 more games. He has won, what's that math on that? 23 more games. He has a higher passer rating. He has 7,000 more total yards. He has 76 more passing touchdowns and 20-some more total touchdowns. He's 4-0 in the playoffs. What about their individual accolades and team accolades? Again, it is Patrick. Patrick has more Pro Bowls. He is the only one with all pros. He has multiple MVPs. He's been to 7 conference championship games. He's been to 5, and then it's 5-3-3-0-0-0. So Peyton versus Tom had a real friction to it. This does not. And it's so frustrating to me that people keep trying to act like this is not Tiger versus the field, that it's Bird versus Magic, when it's not that.
I knew as soon as I saw that quote from Jim Nantz that was going to tick Nick off. And I would love to sit here and go at it with you and come with some opposite viewpoint. But you're right. And Jim Nantz, I assume he knows it. He just was, building up the game and saying something, that is way off. Look, it would be like if Brady, during those first years where he won those 3 Super Bowls, if he was putting up numbers like Mahomes, superstar individual numbers and winning, it wouldn't have been close, with him and Peyton. It wouldn't have been a debate. It was that Brady was viewed as a system guy. He was viewed that way.
Sure.
And Peyton was the great individual player. And this is not anything like to have. And Peyton, by the way, I think was 3-2 against Brady in the playoffs all time.
Right.
So he actually beat him more, had more MVPs, even at the end of their career, 5 versus 3. So to have a rivalry like Magic Bird or Peyton Brady, both have to win sometimes. And Josh has not won. These regular season games, I mean, that's nice, but the fact that you consistently, it almost makes it worse that you keep losing to Mahomes in the playoffs. Because we've seen you beat him in the regular season routinely, but then you get to the big moments. And Josh has played fine, great at times, but still hasn't been able to get over the hump. So it is, look, Mahomes has accomplished so much and been so good. He doesn't need anybody in the league.
Well,
like his real rival is Brady.
Tom.
That's his real rival. Now, and if a rival emerges, it might not be Josh. It could be Lamar.
Oh,
I mean,
it
like
could
if
be.
Lamar started, but right now the closest thing to a rival would be Jalen.
Jalen.
And Jalen's not as good individually, obviously,
And
but
it's also tougher
he
because
has
they're in a
beat him.
different conference.
Right. But it's rare to see somebody beat Mahomes in the playoffs, and Jalen's obviously done it on the biggest stage and played him real close individually. So Jalen would be the rival if there is one right now for Mahomes.
What's up, Kato?
Well, you know I'm a Jalen Hurts guy, so I agree with that. We were in Kansas City. Jalen Hurts won in the Super Bowl, one in the previous regular season matchup. There is one other.
Drake May.
Yeah.
No, it is.
Well, I
on
mean, you mean maybe in the future?
I didn't. Look, Marca does give us a lot of headlines.
Wait, this is from Spain, bro.
What's that got to do
I'm
with
just
it?
telling you. I'm just letting you know.
So is ham.
No, I'm not
Saying it's not valid.
I'm not.
So is
no.
El Clasico. I'm still there.
No, go ahead.
It's no longer Josh Allen. Drake May has become Patrick Mahomes' main threat. Just
So
saying,
that's
we're
a
back.
little ahead of ourselves.
Slightly.
But what I would tell you is this: it would be, if you're a Bills fan, horrifying, and you can't. It is certainly a possibility that Drake May beats Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs before Josh does.
Oh, it's a
Like, you know what I mean? It
That
could
would
happen.
be-
In theory, it could happen. Not in theory. It's good. It is, I don't know, a 20% chance
Burrow
or
did
something
it.
that they play this year in the playoffs. And in that game, the Patriots will have at least a 10% chance of winning. So that's like a 2% chance that it happens this year. And so, no, like that is, so yes, I agree with you that it is not guaranteed that the quarterback that ends up being Patrick's main rival is Josh.
Right.
And I just,
It's wide open for AFC quarterback. Like I said, I mean, it could be Lamar. It could be Drake May.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be Daniel Jones, but
No.
But Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow when he comes
Burrow
back.
might even be. I actually think nobody fits what Nantz said, but you could argue that Burrow fits it better than Josh Allen.
Yeah.
I think he did beat him and get to the Super Bowl at least, and he's a great individual player.
It's just the Peyton and Tom was marked by one guy having the it factor and the other guy having all the awards. And it is since Patrick has more individual accolades far and away than Josh and has done all of the winning, it's not a comp
he's
that
playing
works.
both roles.
He's playing he is Peyton and
Jordan-Ewing or something like that.
Yes, Jordan-Ewing is
great.
that's right.
That
Sorry,
game
Patrick.
is on Sunday at 4.
Hall of Fame.
Lamar's back. More than touchdown favorites when the Ravens play the Dolphins in Miami. Okay, Brew, what can the Ravens prove tomorrow?
Well, look, I like what I'm hearing from him.
Yeah.
I mean, he seems really ready to go. I liked him, the toy toss and all that stuff. So,
Well, Brew, don't shortchange
talking
me.
about?
no, I'll get to
7.
that later.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
setting
sorry.
it up.
All right, my bad.
Just a little appetizer.
My best.
Actually, that's for later in the show.
Yeah, oh, okay.
But a win will be sufficient. I'm just going to keep it real. Right at this point, it's about them stacking wins and tracking down Pittsburgh. Like, that's really what it's about. So that will suffice. But again, for a team that I say is still, and I want to keep this at front of mind for people, they're still S-Bob. And I'm not saying that because I picked them. I'm saying it because I think It's the same. We talked about that with Dallas. I don't know if it was last year, a couple years ago.
yes.
Like now people may think, oh, if they just make the playoffs and win the division, what a great year. They have the talent where they should compete for the Super Bowl. So that's what it's all about. If you get there in an odd way, so be it. But that's what it's about. And to prove something, because just beating Miami is going to prove nothing. Honestly, just blowing them out is not going to prove anything. Everybody that's good has blown them out. But I'd say you have to put probably about 40 plus on them. I'm talking about if you really want to make people take notice, you got to put 40. Look, Danny Jones put 37.
But they're real. They
Buffalo
are the
put
best
31.
team in the league.
I'm talking about the quarterbacks though. Buffalo put 31. Drake May put 33 on them. The Chargers put 39 on them. Like. They need to put 40 plus on them and hold them below 20. Now that's even being generous because this offense isn't good, but I would like to say 14, but I'm not going to go that far. But hold them beneath 20 and put 40. Because it's a bad team.
Listen,
you need to blow them out.
Here is what
if you want to prove.
You
something.
and I are on the same page as far as what can they prove. I wrote. This is the old can't win spot if you're Baltimore. You have to win.
Yes.
But narratively, the score that I said would make you take notice narratively is 30-3. Where the offense rolls and the defense totally shuts them down.
Right.
Like that's
because nobody questions the
that
offense.
is right. That is almost the only. It is something, and I know that sounds unfair, and this is really a 5-minute massive diss of the
30-7
Dolphins.
would be fine.
Is of course, yeah. but where you score 30 and they don't score. Really, what I'm saying is you score 30 and they don't score more than 10.
Chiefs Raiders. It
was like, yeah. I mean that maybe to the extreme, but something like
Buffalo,
that.
Buffalo, Carolina actually, and the Carolinas are better than mine. But you know what I mean? Like
where you move the ball at will and your defense looks excellent. Because people don't care that Miami actually won this weekend. That was that was go, KW.
Well, we've had a lot of fun making catchphrases on points of lines in the sand where this is where the tackle that turned the tide, or the toy toss that transformed the tacklers, even after the toys were tossed, the Ravens still lost 2 games.
But Mahomes threw a 99-yard pick six. That's why. That's why it's fair. And they lost.
I do not have one for the Dolphins.
You've given up. That really.
This is for the Dolphins.
It disheartened me last night.
No, this is for
This
is for the Dolphins.
No, but after the show, you were supposed to come up with a T8. You got T6, I got T7. You gave up. You're at the water fountain. You're saying, I can't do it.
I'm not coming up with
keywords
for the Dolphins beating the Falcons. They're your team. I'm renting in Miami. I got a condo. I think it's unfair, and this I'm trying to appeal to Mr. Consistency.
Yeah.
If all of a sudden the Ravens do something random and they get better, did something snap with the Dolphins when they played the Falcons? Weeks 1 through 7, they weren't good against the Falcons, and maybe they just played the Falcons.
Something did snap.
But Tua threw 4 touchdowns, no interception, passer rating was around 140. They ran the ball for 141 yards. He's like, oh, we're playing the Falcons. All they got is Bijan. Bijan had 25 yards rushing, 23 yards receiving.
It is something.
It's something.
It's KCS FTOT.
Go ahead.
Something, Kirk.
KCS FTOT.
Go ahead. What is it?
Kirk Cousins starts for the other team. When that happens, you look great. That's what it is. So don't maybe. You're right, KW, that it's not totally fair.
In Miami, I think
they don't have the talent either. The Ravens have the talent.
It would be expect them to. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Brew. Like the Ravens, to prove something, they have to dominate them. Yeah. They just do. They just have to dominate.
A close win.
I'll take. Oh, look.
You'll take it. But it's going to be hard to pump your chest out.
The robe will not be out. Yeah. Robe probably won't be out anyway, but it definitely won't be out.
28-26 victory.
28-26 would be a bummer. That would be a bummer.
Yeah.
Paying for other stuff you don't need. So the Eagles' offense exploded against the Giants. A.J. Brown watched from the sidelines. He's hurt. Dynamic wide receiver has been unsatisfied with his usage, Brew, even though the Eagles are in first place. New article from Brooks Cabina in The Athletic. Here's the headline. What does A.J. Brown want? Eagle star wide receiver chases greatness on his terms. Key passage. Here's a quote panel. Obviously, I want to win. That's the main goal. But I want to help. I want to do my thing as well. I hear you, man. I want the show to do well, but let KW get some shine. Reaction to this article.
He's being honest about, I mean, everybody feels that way. Just about every person feels that way. I think Michael Jordan had a quote once that I want to win, but I want to be the reason we win. Like, and players feel that.
I think
like,
that's easier in basketball to accept than football because
certainly
you can
than a receiver. Yeah, absolutely. But this article, I read it all.
Talks a lot about Jesus, bro.
Yeah, which I love that with AJ. But it did give me a different perspective on him. I'm not saying what he's doing is right with all these, social media posts and stuff. But, it painted him as a tremendously hard worker who is obsessed with, being great, being awesome. And I do understand where if that's how you are and you have that talent, if you're not getting the football, you can get frustrated, Now, again, I don't think it's not right. I would say, look, you got to go talk with Jalen privately. You got to talk with the OC or Sirianni, whoever privately. It's not right to say it publicly because it just creates a distraction. And even to the point of last week, them scoring 38 points without him. Now it's like, oh, do they need it creates negative things all the way around, even for him. So I'm not saying what he's doing is right. I understand it, though, and I just think he has to learn how to control it and be like, look, it's not good for your team. And it's actually not good for his image either.
Yeah, the comments that he had were thoughtful, and in reading them, they make a lot of sense, and you appreciate someone who wants to be great and who wants to be a great contributor. But if the main goal is to win, then you constantly bring up your unhappiness doesn't contribute to the main goal. And so you did it last year in the playoffs, and then you did it after they won the Super Bowl, and then you did it at the beginning of this year, and now you're trying to explain yourself, and you're doing it all over again. So all you're doing, are you trying to litigate this in the court of public opinion to put pressure on the head coach, the offensive coordinator, to put pressure on the quarterback? Do you think that helps your relationship with Jalen Hurts? Maybe you don't care. Maybe those two guys don't get along. I would imagine those two guys don't get along.
At one point, I mean, one of them is the godparent of the other one's kid.
Yeah.
So I forget
not
which
for
is
long.
which. I apologize. I don't know if it's AJ's kid or Jalen's kid. But and Brandon Graham said to us last year, those guys used to be really close. I don't know what's happened. So it does seem like that relationship went. And in this article, AJ says, I don't have friends. Like the closest thing to a friend, it was sad.
Well, he said he really demands a lot of
right, and he was like, but he also said I feel like it would be asking too much of my friend, someone to be my friend. And so he does seem to have a lot of, his own stuff that he's dealing with that he was open and vulnerable about. But to your point, clearly the relationship with Jalen Hurts is not what it once was. I'll let you finish, but I just...
Yeah, and I can't imagine it's going to get better. And I would imagine he's asked for a trade. I would imagine they're thinking...
You think he's asked for a trade?
Yeah, I bet you he's asked for a trade multiple times.
Wow.
Because you can't go this public this many times over this long a period of time and have not gone to see the owner or the GM and say, hey, I want to do something different. He's expressed over and over what he wants to do, and he's not going to really be able to do that in this structure, and so his only option is to go somewhere else. Now, they may not pull the trigger on that, but I would imagine if he's willing to be this public about his displeasure, then he's definitely gone to his higher-ups and said, I want out.
All right, not the demanding a trade part, which I'll get to in a moment, but you and I made the same joke.
What?
I wrote, honestly, he reminds me of Wildes. His arrival marked the team's ascent to real notoriety, but he's just a lot to deal with on a day-to-day basis.
You want to contribute?
No, I'm just and in all seriousness, I respect his honesty, but I think the most optimistic view of it is this is his last year in Philly. like that. And it is.
They talked about how Sirianni seems to love him.
Might love him, but Sirianni, this has been, in my opinion, a failure might be too strong, a shortcoming of Sirianni not being able to get his arms around this. That this has not been something he was able to find a way to communicate exactly what Coach just communicated to his star player who he loves in a way that he'll understand.
And does he love him? What other alternatives does he have besides saying, I love the guy? What else?
Well, it's got to
what else can
be
he
frustrating to hear him saying what he's saying publicly.
And again, you guys remember last year when I said, and I think you gave me a hard time for it, I really empathized with what AJ was saying in the locker room, because it did feel to me like it was coming from a selfish place of I want the ball, but I really believed him that he thought, but getting me the ball helps the team so much that it was self and team focused, if you will. Reading this article only made me more fervent in that belief that he really believes I am being a good teammate in doing this. I don't, again, you can believe something and it's not true, but I do think he really thinks, his heart's in the right places, I guess the cliche way to put it, but it is so much, and he is so consistently the epicenter, the eye of whatever storm is around the Eagles.
All of them start with him.
And it feels so unnecessary. And the other thing this article, to me, reconfirmed is he's not going to move off how he feels. No amount of winning or team success is going to make him feel like, oh, okay, this is fine. It's just how he's wired.
The one place I would disagree with you, and I do think he thinks him getting the ball is best for the team. Where I would disagree with you on, if they're winning, which they have been, and he still is complaining, that does show you want it to. It's not just about us winning.
After he caught a touchdown, his celebration was a complaint. We've never seen it.
He said it's hard to be his friend.
Yeah. What was the celebration complaint, KW?
When he was, this is what happens when you throw me the ball.
Yeah.
And then it was using me, not using me. You looked at the numbers like, these numbers are great, but there are a lot of contradictions in the whole article, and I think he's kind of owning up to them. The other quote pen I like, it's also why Brown's vented frustrations often lack a clear target and why his social media posts should be consumed with caution. Coach, I want to talk to you about one other thing. It's my favorite, to bring it back to the Patriots, where we all want to be. The big story about Stephon Diggs is not just the health of his knee and he's good. He'll say it. He's like, I've matured. And there's a clip that they released of just sideline stuff with McDaniels. And Stephon goes up to Josh McDaniels, and he's just checking in during the game. He's like, hey, I'm just checking in. Is there anything you want me to echo? And I was like, oh, we always hear about him mature. It's like, he's not talking about targets. He's not talking about get me the ball. He's like, what do you want me to tell the guys? Are you good with all? And Stephon says he's matured. And I always think we celebrate guys when they have matured. And I think A.J. Brown might get to that point. But now we're in the other point. I don't want to say he's immature. I feel like that's too much. But I feel like there is maturing that's going to come. He's not where Stephon Diggs is in the maturity journey, let's say.
Yeah, Tennessee didn't move on from him because he wasn't talented. And you'll see that we'll see this year, next year, 10 years from now, where good players get moved from teams because they just become more problematic than what they're.
Which is what Diggs was, is I think Wildes' point.
And what number team is this for Diggs? Is this
4.
This is team 4, and then he's at the point in his career where he doesn't have the cachet, he doesn't demand the big contracts. He wants to probably get some more years in the league. So yeah, you do have to go through this. That ideally it's just maturity, but there's also the realization that if I keep making noise like this, not only am I not going to be with this team, I'm not going to be with any team. Right. But guys can mature. Look, we all do. We all make mistakes, and then hopefully.
And also, when you're not quite as good, you're not going to make as much.
Stephon's actually still really good.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.